Go, everyone happy? Yeah, great. The Palaszczuk government is delivering on our vision to make Queensland a clean energy superpower. We are determined to use our world-leading solar and wind resources to secure existing jobs here in Queensland and create new ones in the supply chains of the industries of the future by attracting manufacturing here with that cheap, clean, renewable energy. And once we have done all that, we will then export the surplus energy to the world. And today we announced the next stage of our support for the H2 hub here in Gladstone. Here we will take Queensland's solar and wind energy and produce green hydrogen and green ammonia at industrial scale, making it one of the biggest green hydrogen and green ammonia plants in the world. It will allow us to power local industry with locally produced clean energy. It will allow us to support existing jobs here in the central Queensland region, to create new direct and indirect jobs, hundreds of direct jobs, thousands of indirect jobs, and attract those new industries. It will come in the form of a 3-gigawatt electrolyser, a plant capable of producing 5,000 tonne of green ammonia to power local industry and then to export to global markets, Japan, Korea and Singapore. The plant itself is estimated to cost a total of $4.7 billion, 2.53 in the initial stage, 2.18 in subsequent stages. We've already secured the land, 171 hectares of land here in Yarwun. Of course, we have access to one of the best industrial ports in the world. And so today we announce two of the next big milestones on delivering that project. So I can today announce that the Queensland Coordinator General has declared the H2 hub here in Gladstone a coordinated project. That allows the Coordinator General to use all of her powers to coordinate the entire approvals process, to make sure that we expedite that approvals process where we can, while also ensuring that the community can have certainty about the environmental and safety impacts of the project. These are the same Coordinator General powers that have allowed us to develop all of the industry you already see in and around Gladstone. They're the same powers we've used to declare the state development area and deliver projects within it, the same powers we've used to develop and expand the port, the same powers we use to create the LNG industry, allowing us to export Queensland energy now in the form of gas. We will now use these powers to allow us to export our solar and wind energy into the future. We will also witness today the signing of a strategic partnership agreement between H2U and Orica, which will allow Orica to take green ammonia direct from the H2 hub into their local production plant. It will also allow the partners to explore how they can leverage Orica's existing infrastructure to develop that export market. It entrenches Gladstone, central Queensland and Queensland at the heart of what is anticipated to be a booming hydrogen industry into the future. It allows us to protect jobs here in central Queensland, to attract new jobs, industries eager to access that cheap renewable energy in situ, and also export our clean energy in the form of ammonia, in the form of hydrogen, or better still, in the form of manufactured goods manufactured here in Queensland, to a world hungry for goods manufactured using clean energy. I want to congratulate all of the partners in the H2 hub, but in particular today, H2U and Orica. Their vision is helping us to achieve our goal of securing jobs here in Queensland. I also want to single out our Minister, Glenn Butcher, and the Mayor, Matt Burnett. The two of them together have made sure that Gladstone stays at the heart of all of our industrial planning for the state state's future, and I look forward to continuing to work with both of them to make sure that we can see projects like this one delivered. And I'd ask Glenn to say a few words next, then we'll hear from Orica and H2U. We're then happy to take some questions related to this project and state-related matters, and then we have the Shadow Treasurer, the candidate for Flynn, and Senator Chisholm here also able to talk to you.
Are you clapping for him or are you clapping for me? Thank you, Acting Premier Stephen Miles, for being in Gladstone today. It is a very special day. We are continuing on our path to a hydrogen future, not only for Gladstone, not only for Queensland, but the whole of Australia. Today's partnership, what we're seeing between H2U and Orica, has been set up over a long time. Orica has been a great commercial entity here in the Gladstone region for a long, long time. Now we're starting to see projects on the back of relationships that are being built with good long-term local customers like Orica. The H2U project going forward will create job opportunities for many, many local people, not only here in Gladstone, but throughout the whole of central Queensland and the rest of Queensland as well. These are large-scale renewable projects. Central Queensland is now being seen as not only the capital of hydrogen in Queensland, not only the capital of hydrogen in Australia, but really starting to get that international feel about it, that it will be the hydrogen capital of the world. We know, as Stephen said, we have the best port in the world right here in Gladstone. We have the best infrastructure set up right here to get your export opportunities into the port. We have the land that's available. Also, we have a community that has needs when big industries like this come to town. So I'll throw this out there today. If there's any developers in Queensland or Australia, come and have a look at Gladstone. We need your support to get some housing built in this community to support these large projects. So now is the time. This is a 10-year roadmap for hydrogen, and we want to also build the community roadmap to make sure that we get that infrastructure for the people not only of Gladstone, but the new people that are moving here. This is a long-term vision for Queensland, and these projects are really starting to cement Gladstone as one of the hot spots in Australia to come and do hydrogen. So thanks all for coming to Gladstone. I do acknowledge also that we have the next Treasurer of Australia, Jim Chalmers, here today. We have the next member for Flynn, Matt Burnett, here today as well. So it's great, not only are we supporting on local government, state government and federal government with this fantastic hydrogen project today.
Thank you. Okay, my name is Attilio Pigneri. I'm the founder and CEO of H2U. I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land, of the great land in which we meet, the Gurang, Taribelan, Bandan and Balai people. And I would really like to thank and acknowledge the Deputy Premier and Acting Premier today, the Honourable Stephen Miles, the Minister for Regional Development, Manufacturing and Water, Glenn Butcher, and the Mayor for joining us today. Today we're announcing a partnership between ourselves and Orica that will see us produce green ammonia here in Queensland to satisfy the needs of the ammonium nitrate facility across the road here at Orica. We'll also work together to expand the terminal facilities to develop an export terminal to start making green ammonia from here available to the world. This one project will really change the equation across Queensland from being an importer of green ammonia, or grey ammonia, to becoming a net exporter of green ammonia. Here today we're celebrating a couple of milestones, as was announced by the Deputy Premier, one being the progression through the planning approval processes with the declaration of the project as a coordinated project. And from a development perspective, it is a unique opportunity to develop projects here in Queensland and here in the state development area, where there is access to a master plan, industrial precinct, a clear approval pathway, and the ability to work across agencies with a single point of contact in the Coordinator General. The other great milestone that we're announcing is the partnership with Orica. I would like to thank Bertus de Villiers, the Vice President of Continuous Manufacturing, the whole team at Orica, particularly Vinny Kumar as the manager of the facility here. we can't stress this highly enough. We believe that working with Orica gives us a unique springboard to advance the project. This is really the first time that an established ammonia player and one of the leading players in the ammonia industry actually joins a project. And so we believe that this is a huge vote of confidence in our project and a huge vote of confidence in the potential of Queensland to become a great exporter of ammonia and green hydrogen. The other thing which is really important for us to acknowledge is the fact that, and I would like to really thank again the Acting Premier, because many of the agencies that we've been very fortunate to work with actually report to him, so the Coordinator General, but Department of State Development, and within that Economic Development Queensland. We've been able to work with Economic Development Queensland in selecting the right piece of land to develop the project and work with them to really gather all the knowledge that was available about this particular piece of land and the infrastructure surrounding it. And really, I would like to say they've been a great partner to us in developing the project. So really, there's a lot going for Queensland, and really we're better than Queensland to develop this infrastructure. The other element which is also great and really is the enabling element here, in order to export green ammonia or green hydrogen, the only thing that makes these products exportable is the availability of an industrial port. And so the Port of Gladstone is really a unique platform for us to work with, and particularly given the long-term association between the Port of Gladstone and Orica around handling safely ammonia at the Fisherman's Landing Wharf, we really have a unique blueprint to follow to develop this new infrastructure. And I would like to thank you all for coming here, and I would like to really introduce Bertus de Villiers, Vice President of Continuous Manufacturing of Orica, for saying a few more words. Thank you.
Thank you, Attilio. I too acknowledge the traditional owners of this land and pay respects to the elders past, present and emerging. I'd also like to thank the Queensland Acting Premier, the Honourable Dr. Stephen Miles, MP and local state member for Gladstone, the Minister for Regional Development, Manufacturing and Water, the Honourable Glenn Butcher, for joining us here today. It's terrific to be here this morning announcing this partnership with H2U. We look forward to exploring opportunities to collaborate on a green ammonia supply agreement and also an offtake agreement, and the development of green ammonia export facilities, utilizing the export terminal and storage facilities that Orica operates in the port of Gladstone. We're very proud of our 30-year plus operating history in Yarwun, and we are committed to ensuring not only our Yarwun manufacturing facility, but the broader Gladstone region remains competitive in a lower carbon economy. We see great potential in this project to position the Gladstone region at the forefront of this exciting green hydrogen and ammonia industry, while supporting domestic manufacturing and strengthening sovereign supply. In line with Orica's sustainability commitments, we are accelerating our decarbonisation and deploying technologies to reduce our emissions over the short term. Laying this is a foundation and an important enabler for realising Gladstone's future potential as a future hub in the low carbon economy. Today's announcement is just another step on this journey for us. Together we can create more sustainable products for our customers and open up opportunities across new local industries and global markets. Collaboration here will be crucial. We look forward to working alongside the H2U Group, Gladstone Port Corporation and the government to explore opportunities across assets, infrastructure and expertise to bring this project to life and create a more sustainable future for the Gladstone region. I now invite the Acting Premier, Dr. Stephen Miles, to make a comment.
Is there any questions on this?
I guess when will the Queensland government update its emission reduction of 30% by 2030, which was set in 2016? Isn't it time to be more ambitious?
Look, we're being very ambitious on our renewable energy target, 50% by 2030, and that's what we're working very closely on. The Energy Minister is working through the details of an energy plan that will set out exactly how we will achieve that. We've always said that the primary responsibility for meeting the national emissions target is the national government. We set those targets in light of what the Australian government's targets were at that time, but we'll continue to work very hard to transition to decarbonise our economy, because it will allow us to protect jobs here. And that's precisely what the story we're telling today is all about. Efforts to use new technology, low emissions technology, to secure decades-old industrial jobs here in Gladstone.
Obviously, Gladstone, there's been a lot of investment in hydrogen at the moment, in green hydrogen. That requires water. Where's the water coming from for all of these projects?
Look, the energy plan in part will go to that level of detail. The proponents themselves are working through their water requirements, and then through the Coordinator General we are coordinating what common user infrastructure might support multiple proponents to be able to get their projects off the ground with both the energy and the water that they will need.
The H2 hub was the other month declared, late last month declared a controlled action by the Federal Department of Environment. Are you hoping that, given your announcement today, that the federal approvals processes will, I guess, go quickly?
We hope so. We hope that the Coordinator General coordinating all of the state and local approvals processes can assist in expediting the EPBC considerations, the Australian Government considerations. That's certainly been our experience with other projects, but obviously we'd urge the Australian Government to support this project. It's a very important one.
Just on something else, will the state government be adopting the Auditor General's recommendation for law changes for the more timely tabling of annual reports?
Look, we've only just received that report. We'll consider it as we always do, and we always respond to the specific recommendations. That'll take some time for us to do. I understand that a number of annual reports were delayed, particularly those for health services who were at that time focused on the COVID pandemic response. I think people understand that. I certainly know that when I was the Health Minister, the task of preparing all of those annual reports and getting them tabled is a very significant one. So I think it's understandable that we allowed our health services to focus on delivering health services at the time when Queenslanders need them, and that once the annual reports were finalised, they were able to be tabled.
Does this weaken transparency for the public's right to know in a timely manner?
Now look, all of these reports are tabled. So much of our hospital performance is reported on every 3 months. There are of course the budget papers that also include much of this data. So while they may have been delayed, while we allowed our health services to focus on delivering health services, the information has all been provided.
Do you know Queensland's unemployment rate?
Look, I'm not here for a trivia show. At last report, the Queensland unemployment rate was 4.3%. But you've given me a chance, I guess, to say something about this. There's a lot of focus on one leader forgetting one number yesterday. I think Queenslanders will remember when the Prime Minister forgot Queensland altogether, and I think. I've seen the Prime Minister looking all smug on TV last night. I saw Josh Frydenberg looking all smug this morning, thinking they'd won the election campaign on day one. I reckon when it comes to election day, weeks and weeks away, Queenslanders will remember how the Prime Minister failed them, not so much what a number was forgotten at a press conference on day one.
We had Richard McKenzie in Gladstone this morning making a federal election promise on disaster resilience and more funding for disaster resilience. During that time, she said that the state government and the federal government need to work better together. Is that your experience of the different levels of government needing to work better together?
That is my experience, and I'd welcome Minister Mackenzie's epiphany. We've been wanting to work more closely with them throughout all of the natural disasters we've experienced in recent years, but of course most of all the flooding events over the last couple of months. We've seen resilience projects that we put forward when we were asked to put them forward rejected. The only ones supported were in the electorate of Kennedy, so none along the coastline are largely affected by those disaster events. We asked for funding for a better flood warning system. That was rejected. Then Scott Morrison said we had to stop asking the Commonwealth to support these projects after they'd called for us to go to them with projects we think should be supported. This is a minister who lists Toowoomba as more cyclone risk than Cairns, a minister who proposed 2 members